Hello there, Strawberin0 here, and you would not guess what I will be doing today. That's right, I will be reacting to SsethTzeentach. If you are wondering why I am reacting to Seth so much, well, first of all, I really like his videos. Second of all, they do really well compared to like internet historian reactions or obviously my own original stuff. And three, I am currently busy with my real job, so it's kinda hard for me to come up with something creative and original and whatnot. But I have a sneaking suspicion you people kinda like Seth too, and that's why you watch these videos, so I hope you don't mind doing this still for a little bit longer. Anyway, Wizardry 8 review by SsethTzeentach. I have no fucking idea what Wizardry 8 is, but I'm sure Seth will tell me in like 23 minutes 24 seconds, so I guess I don't have to know what Wizardry 8 is. Oh hey, nice okay, this is not Seth's setup because there is not enough of damage in the picture, and there is not enough mental damage taken when you look at it, so it cannot be Seth's setup.
Hey people, Seth here. Today I'll be breaking away from tradition. I'll be covering some old-ass game that's probably very obscure, long, frustrating, dehumanizing, but also very fun. Ask yourself, have
very unlike Seth, I have to say. I do not know if I like this breakaway from his usual content.
you ever wanted to experience the role-playing equivalent of
This looks like Heroes.
Repeatedly,
Heroes of Might and Magic. Not
for many weeks.
Sorry, not Heroes. Just Might and
I got
Magic.
dibs on his stuff.
Until you gradually build up a tolerance for self-inflicted pain and suffering. You see, much like eating a bag of raw potatoes, do it in one go and you might die, but do it gradually and you might live. Keep at it and you might just start enjoying it. I present to you Wizardry
Like the Irish?
8, released in
Or the
2001
Polish, I
by
guess.
the Canadian government. Wizardry 8
What the
is one of the
fuck? Is
finest
that
torture
true?
devices to be released on the personal computer. Wizardry 8 takes place in the Dragon Ball Z extended universe. You and your party are space-traveling aliens hired by the Wookiees to retrieve all 3 remaining Dragon Balls, the Astral Domine, the Chaos Malari, and the Destiny Dominus. And
I still cannot get over the fact that he said this was developed by the Canadian government. Why the fuck would they develop? I guess maybe like a venture sponsored by the Canadian government or something?
use them to ascend as literal gods.
I mean,
and
those
reshape the
shitty
universe. Ascension
video
takes
game
place on a
movies
planet
made
called
by
Dominus.
Uwe Boll
Unfortunately, the
are
process of
basically
ascension has been
sponsored by the
complicated
German
involvement
government,
of a
so...
dark savant who, to put it simply,
certain
is Space
nations-
Hitler, setting
I was about to say, so certain nations do commit hate crimes against their population. And I was talking about Germany sponsoring the hate crime. Sometimes the stars just align, and you cannot help but smile, even if it's horrible, because it is horrible, but I cannot help but smile.
up an interplanetary anti-Semitic blockade around Dominus. Unfortunately, your ship bears the Mark of David and is quickly shot out of a sky, forcing you to make a crash landing. All things considered, that's not too bad. Except, Space Hitler has also rigged the planet with a nuclear payload that is large enough to glass the entire surface, in case anyone who isn't Space Hitler tries to ascend. I hope you're following all this, because this is just the intro. And now I'm gonna quickly summarize the plot to help you understand how amazing this game is. Space Hitler is not very popular. As a result, he loses
Crazy.
the only Dragon Ball he has to the Italian Mafia, because he neglected to pay their godfather, Don Barlone. By the way, the Italian Mafia in this game is composed of rats and speak in an Italian-American accent.
I mean, that's...
I'm always in top form, not just
That's
rescue.
kinda accurate,
Bazooka,
though.
pal. Yeah, the Order of Tar. You might consider us a family of sorts.
Don Barlone switches out the Astral Domine with a shiny salt lick. The melanated master finds out and has an autistic tantrum in front of you. You'll come to find this is a common theme. You take the imitation and buy the real thing. It costs most of your life savings, so instead of paying, you might try and whack him instead. Luckily,
To be fair, if I was like a space overlord, like a really bad guy in a Dragon Ball extended universe, I too would probably make some pretty fucking bad blunders, powered by my colorful personality and great decision-making abilities. So I can
The best
kinda
tricks are
relate
so nice,
to...
but they work twice.
What was it called? Dark Savant?
First, you
So
gotta
I
get
can
chummy
relate
with
to
the
Dark
Umpani
Savant.
or Vatrang. This is the choice between authoritarian rhinos or literal bugmen that reproduce faster than India. I usually roll Umpani because we share a common bond in our attraction to anthropomorphic rhino girls.
I mean, this
Siding
is...
with one of those,
this
let's
is
visit the
stupid.
local Wookiee embassy to
When you present a young adult or a teenager, you know what, fucking literally pick any age group. And if you present a choice between like rhinos who walk on 2 feet and swing big ass fucking swords and slug people, who do you think the player is going to back? And this is completely regardless of what ideology or faction they represent. There will be always people who back a certain faction in fiction just because they
He seems like an
look
honest,
really
trusting guy,
cool.
and those are my favorite kinds of people.
I mean,
Also, why
snatching
are
it in
the
front of him,
portraits
apologizing
just
sincerely,
different
and then
YouTubers?
replacing it with a knockoff glass bulb. Then you gotta find the Destiny Dominus, which is really the search for enlightenment. As the source of all knowledge in the universe, you find it naturally by consuming a lot of psilocybin, DMT, and ayahuasca. So you can project yourself to a higher plane of consciousness and talk with Joe Rogan. With all 3 Dragon Balls in your dragon sack, there's still the small matter of nuclear oblivion. So you gotta go up north and offer your sweet body to a goat demoness. This game was
why
very
is
progressive
she wearing a big ass shirt? I can imagine what's under there.
for its time, because Alcedexis is fiercely heterosexual and rejects the very concept of scissoring. She also rejects the concept of monetizable content because her milk jugs are anything but modest. Anyway, to disarm the bomb, you have to get inside it. How? By breaking and entering into people's bedrooms, because, logically speaking, one of them is bound to have a direct access interdimensional portal into the bomb, which can be disabled by pressing random keys and getting lucky, with the bomb no longer
That puzzle looks really awful. What the fuck?
armed, you smack the savant, leaving him disarmed. The savant dies, but in his death reveals to you the ultimate truth that he's been using a voice changer on Discord this whole time, and he's not actually that dark. The end. Any questions? No? Then in that case, welcome to Wizardry 8. I love this game. Now let's talk about playing it. To play, you need to make a party. From characters, you make yourself. If I said there's a lot of
Was
options,
that
that would be an
Ken
understatement. You
Ashcorp's,
can do anything
fucking mascot?
you want to be. Humans, non-humans, subhumans, furries,
Jesus
scalies,
Christ.
more furries, and even short kings. There's so many
You know what? Somehow, if he didn't tell me, I would have guessed that this came out of Canada. Something about there being like 3 different furry races really tips you off on
short
that.
kings in this game you can pick by your preferred size. Anything from 5'11" kings to a 5'10" pocket prince, who are so light at this point they get carried away by the wind. Race. Is there a link between race and I? There's 11 races, and that's only including ones you can pick.
bro.
There's about 16 in total. Do anything you want to do, and I mean it. I don't care how many classes your game has, because Wizardry 8 has 15, including, but not limited to,
That's
fighters.
a lot if they are diverse, because sometimes a game has 16 different classes, but it's just 3. It's just literally 3, and they have little bit different skills.
Which fight Valkyries, which fight using female privilege to avoid death. Ninjas, which fight with the empty space representing their lack of contribution to the team until 2 weeks into the average game. However, if you rolled a fairy ninja, congratulations, because your pocket prince can now solo the entire game. Alchemist makes potions and breaks the economy by making infinite potions you can sell for infinite money, letting you buy everything in the
Obviously, the class that is using an exploit to rig the economy in his favor is represented by Seth's mascot.
entire game. 10 out of 10
Obviously.
working as intended. Gadgeteer who uses an unconventional form
Ken
of weaponry.
a bard then?
But that's the boring part. The interesting part is overloading a microwave in the monastery, ripping out the microwave chip, and using it to give your enemies brain tumors. Gadgets are essentially random pieces of trash duct taped together to inexplicably cause widespread devastation. And if you think that sounds ridiculous, then let me tell you about the bard. In most games, a bard plays music, keeps up morale, and probably cooks and cleans for the party as well. In Wizardry 8, the droning melody of a bard's bagpipe brings pandemonium, the plucking of his harp causes cerebral hemorrhaging, and the blowing of his horn results in nuclear fallout. Building the optimal six-man party is
Okay, Ken is a priestess, Seth is the alchemist, there is... what was his name? Something Knudsen. As a psionic, also he's a female. What the fuck is a mook? Is that just human? Are humans called mooks? Because that's the race, right? Because there's a... Ken is a female elf, Seth is a male elf for some reason. Probably something to do with min-maxing the game. Mandalore Gaming as a fighter. Male hobbit. And Uber Danger as a rogue who is also a hobbit. And also internet historians slash... What was the meme called? Badlock Harold or something? As a male mook
difficult.
fighter.
Explaining is difficult, and we don't have time. Here's my build. Follow it, copy it, and...
Okay, it is part of min-maxing the game. You need to... You need those specific races, I guess. Okay, it doesn't specify, but
It's very powerful,
but it's
very well-rounded, and gives
probably,
you a complete first experience of a game. By the way, this game's got a lot of voice dialogue.
It's probably for min-maxing
Stand
reasons.
still so you can get it between the eyes.
And most of it comes from your own party.
I almost feel normal.
There's 18 different personalities for each gender.
There will be many implements of destruction at my disposal, yeah?
Which is 36 fully voiced personalities in total.
Yeah, slice 'em, dice 'em, no
That's
sense
cool.
being nice to 'em. That's my motto.
And that's absolutely nuts. Now, on to the fun stuff. I present to you all my current party. That's right, I manually imported all this to work inside the game. By the way, they're fully animated. The portraits, not even that bad. Work inside
I
the
wanna
game.
see.
By the way, they're fully animated. The portraits, not even that bad. But manually animating the eyes and mouth, yeah, that took a while. As our first fighter, we got internet historian. Physically, he's a giant. Mentally, he's...
Ah, a trap. I wonder what would happen if I just pulled this thing here.
He's very stable. Mr. Mandalore as our second fighter, whose voice I absolutely adore.
How exciting. I think I'm improving. Oh no. More people. They just keep coming. And coming. I'm getting stressed.
Bro,
It's
those
just
portraits
so
are
expressive.
great.
As
What
our
the
morally
fuck?
bankrupt, backstabbing, conniving, and scheming we got my man Uber Danger as a rogue who sounds exactly as he does in real life.
I'd rather be recognized with cash, but a rise in status will do. Oh yeah, this is
That's
amazing.
fucking
nothing
awesome.
Special. Yeah, probably worthless. I'll just hang on to it for us. You go on and fight. I'll guard the rear.
For spellcasters, I put Frederick Knudsen as our resident psionic. There's nothing wrong with him. He's actually the most well-adjusted of the entire group.
Gotcha! I am glad to be alive again, though the stillness of death was not totally objectionable.
Also, I put him as female. Sorry, Fred baby, but the best jewelry in this game is for girls, and we need to min-max.
Yep, I fucking knew it.
Myself as the party's dark, brooding alchemist.
Ordinary men fear the power of darkness. I revel in it.
Who, over the course of the story, has been one-shot many times.
The dead guy. What was his name?
Thanks so very much. Why did you tear me from death's sweet embrace?
And finally, Ken Ashcorp as our local priest.
Be careful. I can't believe we're wasting time talking to a chipmunk! skunk!
who's also
That's
completely
great.
unhinged. I did originally
Holy.
consider adding Pyro-Cynical to the team, but unfortunately, YouTube does not let me feature minors in this video. There's a lot to do in Wizardry. Explore amazing places, visit the swamp, catch malaria, climb a tree, get body blocked for hours by hamsters, go to the only functional malaria, climb a tree, get body blocked
This looks disgusting, and I mean that.
blocked for hours by hamsters.
And I mean that body block. Like, I can feel the frustration. In most games, it takes one NPC to completely block you. What the fuck is this? Did nobody playtest this game? Like, why would you put so many NPCs patrolling together in an area that's asking for body blocks that lead to the player just attacking them and fucking up their playthrough?
Just go to the only functional city in the game, with a grand total population of about 12 people. Get harassed by Space Hitler and the androids of the Fourth Reich. Head to the bar, get blackmailed, go to the bank, because
You can get attacked in town.
of course
in this game?
it's still
That's
open.
weird.
Go to the airport, because why not? Because this is the one game where you can talk to a starship and tell it to go fuck itself. The dialogue system in this game is nothing short of amazing. You have to manually write
Also, this is a very interesting mix of like futuristic and fantasy.
down, memorize, and figure out the keywords for conversational topics you're interested in. The game will then
just
try
like
to
Tibia.
identify your intent and produce you a fully voiced answer.
Amusing yourself, are you?
There's not many NPCs in this game, but I remember every single one of them. Whether it's the Umpani and their militaristic tendencies,
Oh, come on now, stupid thing. Get in there. Perfect. Oh, no. Oh, no.
the slick-talking Don Barlone of Arazuka,
We keep our end of the deal, you know. But he slips town before he pays our fee. So, we're here to collect. But he ain't gonna pay. That ain't a problem. We get our cash,
That's some
and
quality
you get your
voice
prize.
acting.
And the
God
dark
damn.
savant gets shafted.
or even your own biological daughter, conceived as a result of sleeping around with demons, because their voice acting is absolutely fantastic. Some can even be convinced to join your party. Unfortunately, most of them are highly superstitious of their own planet, and won't go where you want them to.
You know what, boys? This place reminds me of a song I wrote called I Ain't Going There No Way, No How.
The workaround to this is running them to exhaustion with a heavy backpack, knocking them unconscious, and forcibly dragging them past the load screen. Once they wake up, they'll complain and bitch about this breach of consent, which is why people generally avoid them, except RFS 80.
The fact that you can do that speaks about the quality of the game so much.
Who is the best boy? Because, unlike everyone else, he's not programmed to be a bitch. Quests are also equally brilliant until you get stuck, until you get frustrated and desperate enough
What
to
is
leave
up
the
with
damn
sci-fi
walkthrough
games
instead.
and
There's
like
no shame.
the best companions always being robots? Doesn't KOTOR feature that extremely based robot companion that everybody loves? What was he? HK something? There is always like a killer machine, and he for some reason is always
that
a
because
fan
I do it.
favorite.
And I finished the game twice. Some of my favorite quests include protecting a verified Twitter user from hateful comments online by crushing someone into meat paste after luring them in using the sweet aroma of a female girl, getting motion sickness from the mine tunnels, and of course retrieving the black box flight recorder of a crashed ship so you can triangulate the position of Space Hitler's ship and use a heavy surface-to-air battery to shoot him out of the sky.
3, 2, 1, firing.
Yeah, like I said, very interesting mix of fantasy and sci-fi. This game sounds
this game
really
goes 0
fucking...
to 100 real fast.
Really
Anyways,
fucking
let's
cool.
get back to something sensible, like using medieval weaponry to kill fantasy creatures. The biggest part of this game, from beginning to end, from the moment you wake up on that beach to the moment you pass out each day from exhaustion, is combat. This game has a lot of fighting. A lot of fighting. The hardest thing in this game is to simply walk unmolested through a short forest trail, which
Oh my
is physically
God.
impossible, because every Every step of the way, you'll be harassed, molested,
It's one
and
of
physically
those
assaulted by the
RPGs.
entire regional populace. Should you survive your first experience of the great outdoors, you'll reach Arnica, the first city in the game. And don't worry, that's where I also let my guard down. Sleeping with a door open, peeking out from a dusty window, only to catch a faint glimpse of moving pixels in your peripheral vision. I'm very sorry, but you are now in combat with the entire city, because even civilization is an unstoppable barrage of random encounters.
What
To understand
the
my frustration,
fuck?
here's an example. Previously, I have walked.
Why
5
would you
meters
put
on the
random
tropical
encounters
island,
in
got
a
jumped by crustaceans,
town?
walked
What the
5 meters
fuck?
back because I realized I was going the wrong way, got jumped by more crustaceans, only to walk forward again and get jumped by the same group of crustaceans which have now respawned. This wouldn't be so
Christ.
bad if combat wasn't turn-based, but it is, and it's slow. This won't hit you immediately, but believe me, it will. And once it does, the following information will make sense. Hello, future viewer. Like you, I have also had a mental breakdown after watching combat animations for many hours. So, I've installed the Wizardry 8 speed mod to quicken animations. I'm running Wiz 8 fast at 625 times speed, and I'm simultaneously speed hacking the game with Cheat Engine at 3 times speed. And it's still slow, but don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean combat is easy. It's absolutely the opposite. It's sadistically hard. It doesn't care, and it's going to keep beating you until you break.
She was a saint! A saint!
Sure, you can put down the difficulty. You're still gonna get shredded by the 10 plus juggernauts that just came out of camouflage. The only way to avoid dismemberment is to play intelligently. This game is a constant battle of overwhelming odds versus your own capacity to game the system. To charge the juggernauts is suicide. They swing potentially 3 times a turn, and they're not stupid. They're gonna surround you, flank you, and hack your spellcasters to pieces. Positioning is important. Instead of charging, you herd them into a choke point. Their numbers become worthless, and we reduce the fight into a glorified meat grinder. And that's not hyperbole. Enemies get visibly wounded the more you hurt them. It provokes a very Pavlovian response, as I get satisfaction from seeing whatever has inconvenienced me get reduced to a bloody pulp. Other times, I'm left thinking, Jesus fucking Christ, please stop. Just put him out of his misery, as I'm beating a bandit so hard that we've ripped the very skin off his face, and his skull is visibly choking through the flesh. Tactics are important.
Yeah,
Your fighters do most of the damage. Your mages control the
maybe
battlefield.
some
Why deal with
artists
the crowd
on the
when you
team
can make
went
the
a
crowd
little bit
insane
too
and
hard
kill each
on
other
the
in a psychotic
details.
rage? And if that doesn't work, paralyze them, curse them, give them topical dermatitis, make them throw up, and induce nausea. You know the best way to stop an animal attack? Diarrhea. Because it's very hard to focus on anything when your ass is exploding. However, any status that affects enemies can affect you as well. And you'll find it's very hard for your party to focus when they're in the process of getting vored and digested by wild animals.
Something's different, but I can't put my finger on it.
Luckily, combat is extremely rewarding. You only have to win a couple of fights appropriate to your level to level up. With that comes increased stats, skills, and spells to expand your options. Also, the game gets harder. Early game might be spent on the verge of death, but given time, you'll find that this is a constant state of tension, except you're no longer afraid of it. Instead, you'll learn to enjoy it, and even revel in the act as you realize you're quite good at it. I do, however, have some critique. 1. Traps. Traps are randomized, and one of them stole 90% of my current assets. Philosopher's Bane turns your gold into lead, and I forgot to quick save. On the other hand, my critique is also praise, because traps are a perfect example of how goddamn good the sound design is in this game. First, you gotta tumble around to try and guess the mechanism. Next, you need to try and disarm them one at a time. Listen to this. The sound is so goddamn crispy that you can physically feel the tension as your rogue fiddles with the machinery, which can snap at any given moment. Good God, I love it. Just remember to save. 2. Lockpicking. Lockpicking is not based.
That goes
It is
for
cringe.
an
It is an
RPG.
endless hell of clicking tumblers to make them rise, only to watch the rest fall as you
Lockpicking
persist
is
in your
cringe in
futile
any
struggle, which
fucking
is
game,
why
I
I
swear.
strongly recommend you use earth magic to magically hold the tumblers, because otherwise you're gonna have a bad time. 3. Pickpocketing. Don't even bother, because it's fucking broken. No one's really sure how it works, but you can't save scum, and the responses are hard-coded. It's actually almost creepy. I once pickpocketed an NPC 5 times with the same negative outcome, only to reload the quick save and discover that the NPC was missing, or rather that they were deleted from my save file, as if to send me a message. I know this sounds like I'm losing it, and you don't have to believe me, because I managed to record the whole thing. 4 other weird shit that happens. I used to think you couldn't Alt-Tab out of this game, because Alt-Tabbing breaks the keyboard. Turns out it doesn't. You just have to hit the Alt key once again. How could you know this? You can't. How did I learn this? I smashed my keyboard and it worked. Then I reduced the surface area of my fist, smashed keys at random until, through order of elimination, found the secret combination. This game has several features on the level of esoteric knowledge. That is to say, nobody knows shit. Wizardry 8 is
Those are the
fantastic.
best types of
Yes,
games,
there's
though.
annoying bullshit to deal with, but hey, it's almost 2 decades old and released in less than ideal circumstances.
Also, it
That's
looks
why
pretty
there's
good.
still a fucking hardware advert that pops up whenever you try and close the game, because the publisher was broke and the developer was about to be. So they had to shill out by advertising higher FPS in a turn-based RPG where FPS doesn't matter. On the other hand, holy shit, that advert aged well. They still exist to this very day. Pre-built computers? Now that's a future-proof business model, not some turn-based PTSD simulator that blew its entire poly count on jiggle physics. This game will try to break you. It'll spit in your mouth, call you names, and crush your self-esteem. But if you persist, that's when real satisfaction kicks in. When you're no longer at the mercy of its bullshit. It's the feeling of control. And let me tell you, it is an all-encompassing, intoxicating sensation. I give Wizardry 8 an extremely high score. I also give it 80% off on GOG, because I have that power. All this for about $2. If it sounds like something you'd enjoy, give it a try. An average playthrough will run you anywhere between 100 to 150 hours of game time.
way.
And given the vast range of builds and
No
character
fucking
classes,
way.
it is very
No fucking way that one playthrough is 100 hours.
much
Jesus
replayable,
fucking
preferably
Christ.
with breaks of several years in between. As always, more content to come, so stay tuned. A warm thanks to the many members of the Merchants Guild, generously funding and bankrolling these videos. You're all truly wonderful. Have a good one, stay safe, and please enjoy the credits.
He seems like a kind, generous soul. I hate him.
What do you...
The custom avatars are definitely the highlight of this fucking game. That's so cool and unique. Holy goddamn, it kinda reminds me of like Tony Hawk games where you could import like your own face into the model, and people went fucking crazy with custom characters for those games. Definitely not a game for me, because I don't like those first-person RPGs like Might and Magic. I'm definitely more of a like an if it's in first person, to me it has to be like an action or a adventure game or something, or you know, an FPS, but that's just kind of boring at this point. But yeah, I just don't like... I just kind of want to see my party, you know, when I'm playing an RPG where you build a team. But this is one way to do it, where you have like custom portraits. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I just smacked the shit out of this mic. So yeah, folks, that's it for today. Tune in to the next time. I probably will be reacting to another sub video, not gonna lie. And thank you for your continued support. God bless you. God bless SsethTzeentach. And God bless the terror state of America.